Hey everyone, welcome to the League Open season 3, week 3. I am one of your comms, Floyd here, and Ben will be joining me shortly.
Ben is here. Hey, how's it going? Yep,
Hey,
I'm on the
Ben.
ball. I'm ready. I know what I'm doing. How we doing? Link to the Past randomizer. It's a good game.
That's right. We're gonna watch two guys here, Death King 2 and Darkwolf, take on a casual boot seed. And I think we're gonna start here any minute now. Ben, tell me about these two guys, these teams. How they doing?
These are two guys. One of them is from a German team that I can't pronounce and will not try, but they have 12 points, so they're doing real good. Nuclear Zoo looking for their first win of this league season, it looks like.
Yep, it looks like we are off casual boots. This is a standard opening, so we're gonna go to the castle, rescue the princess, and see what we find.
And there are a lot worse things to find than 300 bucks in that first chest. You don't have to worry about paying the turban merchant. You don't have to worry about buying bombs. You're good for quite a while.
Yep, and thankfully with our boot start here, we don't even need to find bombs for escape. We can run right into that back and break that wall open.
You can indeed. Uncle handing out another $50 note for Christmas. And I noticed Death King showing off a fun quirk of this particular mode. You can't use the sword in the rain. That causes some weirdness, but you can still dash through bushes.
Yeah, it's always fun to see. All right, so far it's just been a ton of money. Let's see what we've got next. More money.
That's exactly what Canada wants. A non-rupee item. What is this? I'm not sure if it's even allowed. A piece of heart.
Can't spin that anywhere. What's with that? Death King's got to be careful. Oh, he's going back for hearts. Okay. You don't want to die down here in the cell and have to make that trip again. So Darkwolf went and took that upper stairway with the boots, or that upper walkway. I always thought that was faster with boots, but I don't know.
That was my understanding too, but that's one of those things that since NMG runners don't do it, it's hard to get a really good expert opinion on that. You know, standard mode has sort of fallen out of favor a little bit in the community, it feels like, except in these casual modes. I really like it as a viewer. It's nice seeing that initial sync between runners and just getting a feel for how they stack up on pure execution.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is fun to watch. You get that nice sync in the beginning. I like it as a runner too. You know, you get the escape sequence out of the way. You don't have to worry about going back in.
Yeah, for integrity, competitiveness of the game purposes, I can see the argument, but as a runner, it's nice not having to wonder, okay, when do I make it back to escape? And it looks like we do have the book in Dark Cross. Exactly the kind of item hiding there that can bite you in the butt in open mode.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see if these guys continue on to the normal route into CAC or if someone's going to make that gamble down to desert. More money, the map, and more money. These guys are just going to be fine with money.
Yeah, they're getting close to Zora money already. Of course, 100 of that usually goes to the Turban Merchant in CAC Village, although, like you say, that book might pull them in all kinds of crazy directions.
And we did find the map, so what do we find here? Blue mail.
Deadpool's too stylish to pellet swap. But he's got the protection, and that's what matters.
So this is good. Death King's not forgetting you can do Bonk Rock Soda away. I've seen many runners forget that with a boot start. It's rewarded with Bombos.
Yeah, that's another one of those subtle changes in casual boots mode. One more check right away, but one less pulling you to those North Dark World and boots checks, Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, stuff like that later on in the seed. And hey, did you want $20 more? Because the tree pole's got you covered. And you know what? If you need just a little extra pocket change, this bush crab, look, he knows you're good for it.
This seed's got cash for days.
Cash on Lumberjack.
We did get a map check, and it looks like all blue crystals in the light world today. And even more money. I don't know, Ben, what do you think? Does this make you run straight to Zora?
I think this gives me a difficult decision after the dam, when I've got that book pulling me left and that rupee count pulling me right. Ooh, and Death King living up to his name and taking an unfortunate one in the Lost Woods.
At least he got the items there, though, so he doesn't have to run back into the forest.
And that might have been a time to say, you know what, I got 3 bombs. The world's my oyster. What if I just went South Shore right now? But he decides to stick to a more standard route and resume the trip to CAC.
Yeah, CAC has so many items, it's just a strong pull to get over there and clear that thing out.
Yeah, the big argument I've seen for looking for reasons to put it off until later is, well, if you find a bottle someplace else, if you find a flute especially someplace else, if you can hit it all in one trip, that is nice. And $300 more in Blindside.
Jeez.
We now officially have enough for Zora Pod, plus a couple of potions if we feel real good about it.
Yeah, we're not going to be digging or hunting for rupees, that's for sure. Well, there's one of those
Ooh.
items we needed.
Yep, there's that flute. Always a nice early find. And that potentially makes the pull to desert a little stronger, makes it a little faster to get there, although without a fire source, it will remain unclearable, and it's tough to justify that dip into a non-completable crystal dungeon. Ooh, and a blue goo on the merchant. Nice vanilla bottle there.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna fully clear out CAC while we're here. No reason to come back later.
Fun fact about our runner on the left, Death King the Elder, his grandfather, played Link to the Past randomizer on an abacus. And that's a mirror and chicken hut. Very stacked opening today.
Very stacked. Oh, that's not the bombs. That's bombos. Now that we've allowed quick swap in all these races, players need to get used to it.
It definitely is a brand new skill. And speaking of brand new skills, Death King can lift up heavy rocks now, finding the glove on Bottle Boy.
King sees that blue cane and, oh, I thought he was passing, but he's changing his mind.
Yeah, definitely a good thing to have with only 3 hearts to your name. Might come in handy later for something like Spike Cave.
He's gonna go straight for that race game. Surprise.
What else would it be? More money. Death King also stumbling a little over his quick swap, briefly pulling out that blue cane before heading to the mirror. Ooh, and a hook shot in the dam. Our stacked opening continues. But I was about to say, how long do you figure, I haven't seen it in a race yet, but how long do you figure before somebody screws up and mirrors out of a dungeon? It's got to happen, right?
It's happened, and it will continue to happen. These guys are so concentrated on going so fast, you can just hit that menu one more time to get over to that mirror. And there's our Moon Pearl, which nope, not Dark World Access, almost Dark World.
Ooh, Death King taking it up the mountain. That is Hera access, which is a crystal. With Herapod in play, I like the move. Follow those crystals. Unless
Yeah,
you
and
have
it
a strong reason not to.
looks like Dark World is going right behind him. Yeah, this is a good play because this gets you Hera. It gets you all of the light side mountain. Death King trying to show off that spin speed, but those cabbages got him.
Just a heart container on top of the rock, and yet more rupees inside it. I think you're good, Death Knight. Death King. I think you just leave those behind. Okay, all right, good. We agree.
Yeah, we've got that book, so we can check this tablet, see what it is. Oh,
Ooh.
see that, Ben?
I did see that. We need a Master Sword before we can get that hammer from the Ether tablet. That's some really nice information to have. Darkwolf opting to spend just a little bit of extra time. I suppose both of them did to grab that fourth heart container.
Yeah, this early, that's a good play. You'd want to get that heart. And going for the hook speed strategy here on Hera.
Yeah, this is tech that I've never bothered to learn. I already had to relearn Harapot after I learned the boots required version of it, and then had to figure out how to do it with bombs only.
Darkwolf is setting up for a bomb attempt. I believe the big key's down in the basement.
I do believe you're right.
We are potentially going to leave one item.
Yep, it does also mean that if the item is on Moldorm, it is logically fire-locked. As was the $20 in that compass chest, for whatever that's worth.
Go with NMG strats here. Our fighter sword. Death King taking down the worm with no problem. War with a compass, so there is an item in that big chest.
Ooh, Darkwolf taking an unfortunate dive to the trolliest of bosses. Very aggressive final phase on that worm. Oh, and Darkwolf takes a very unfortunate tumble through the center hole, down 2 levels.
Tough to see. And meanwhile, we've got Death King over here exploring Paradox Cave. So far, just finding money, which seems to be the theme of this seed so far. Oh,
Ooh, and there's the Titans and Dark World access.
this is good. He can clear out Darth Death Mountain while he's here too.
And
there's
the Master Sword.
Yep.
There's the other half of his Dark World access.
And going up here with the mirror into Dark World, that's just going to make it a whole lot easier to get over to that tablet.
Always nice to have that mirror before you go into your Dark Death Mountain, and makes routing just so much easier. Don't have to worry about getting all your Light World checks done ahead of time. And it occurs to me that that does put Spike Cave in play as an end to this particular Dark Death Mountain trek. We got a blue cane, we got the hammer, got everything we need. Ooh.
Doing the save and quit. That's interesting. He wants to rush up and get that hammer. This isn't a bad idea. He can rush up, get the hammer, and then use the portal over at TR. And with bombos can possibly open TR if it's available.
Chat pointing out with full Dark World access, we're in what has up until now been a pretty linear start. We are getting the potentiality of some divergence here. You got Hype Cave there. You could go Dark Village early. Lots of places you can go. And Death King opting to peace out of the mountain altogether and head to Mire. Not going to do those Dark Death Mountain checks.
Saw the 5-6 on Skull and Turtle Rock there. And it looked like Thieves Town Ice and Pod were pendants, with Ice being the green today. And it looks like Ether is needed for Mire access.
Chat pointing something else out, which is that Darkwolf did not check the tablet by Hera. Hopefully, those Titan's mitts do not distract him from getting that very important item.
It can really put a hurt on things if he forgets to go back for that.
Yeah, because with the Dark World open to him, that's a long time before he might occur to it. Before it might occur to him to go back to it. Meanwhile, Death King making a bit of a puzzling play into desert here with no fire source. He is committing himself to at least double dipping this dungeon. Seems to me to be an odd play considering how much else is out there to check. Meanwhile, getting our first look at Dark Death Mountain on Darkwolf's side.
Yeah, I understand the play of going to check out what's needed for Mire. We know it's a crystal. We know we have to complete it. So getting that intel on the medallion is valuable. I'd say, yeah, it's a 50-50 of whether you dip into desert and see what you can get out of it. Considering we got that book pretty early too, you know, this is very early logic.
Yeah, that's fair. I suppose since we know we're coming back here for Mire anyway, the double dip doesn't cost you much.
And that was 2 packs of arrows for the 2 items in desert. Find out our other medallion here, Bombos, which we have.
I did not catch the Mire requirement, did you?
The Mire requirement was Ether.
Thank you.
And
looks like
flippers.
we've got flippers.
Yeah.
They're in Hookshot Cave. And Powder in Agina. Oh, plus Mushroom. Dueling fetch quest items.
And with that, let's see if Darkwolf gets that hammer. Oh.
Ooh, you hate to see it.
So we've got one player missing his flippers up on the mountain and the other one missing his hammer up on the mountain. And with Swamp Palace as a crystal. Gonna need both of those. All right, time to spend some of that money we've been collecting.
Oh no, didn't you know? Chess game's a net profit today. Oh, and we've got a bow on Desert Ledge, which Death King missed, apparently.
I'm a little surprised by that. Up to Tempered Sword, found in over here in Thieves Town. So Thieves Town is one of our pendant dungeons, not a crystal, so we'll see if Death King chooses to finish this or not. And it looks like he is noping out. He's got that front floor. He found 2 items. He's out of there. And the theme of this seed's just continuing. $300 over in that C-shaped house.
So I'm trying to think, if you're Darkwolf, what brings you back to that hammer up on the mountain?
Oh, I don't know. He was able to find that bow, so you know, hammer, or he doesn't have the hammer, so bow can lead you through most of a pod.
Ooh, yeah,
But he's
that's
got
rough.
pod and Eastern. He found the flippers and the mitts. He can go into ice.
He could do that first chest in Swamp.
Oh, hate to see that, but yeah.
Ooh.
More money for our dig game prize.
Also, our eagle-eyed tracker did confirm Death King did pick up that bow on chest on Desert Ledge. Yeah, that just that is
good.
one of the downsides to quick swap being legalized. If if tracker misses an item with so much less menuing, it might be a while before you confirm that no, it's there. But I just caught it. Death King did just quick swap right past it. He does have bow.
Oh, good.
And there's a fire rod and hammer pegs. This is actually good for Darkwolf. We need as much progression to be locked behind that hammer as possible so that he can get to that last location and get back in this race.
Yeah, because Death King's going to be way more inclined to go back up to that mountain since he hasn't done Super Bunny, Hook Shot, or even looked at TR yet.
Yep, whereas the only checks Darkwolf left on that mountain were the one check that he really needed, plus the fire-locked item in Hera, and Spike Cave, which neither of our runners got.
It looks like Darkwolf's gonna head over into ice. Maybe he'll visit Zora first or Zora after.
Meanwhile, Death King doing some Smith chain stuff. This is a bit of a puzzling move to me. Skullwoods is right there, and you just found Fire Rod. It is a 5/6 crystal. You're gonna need to do it.
You needed to go make sure there's money in Cave 45 there. And we also saw the other 300 on the island. King showing off that we can just leave that chest behind. It's one of my favorite strats to do. Just run over here, mirror by the what do we call him, Gary, lunchbox guy. Thinks we still have it.
The Desert Thief, if you want to get canonical, and he's found some of that real hard to come by cash in this seed, so good for you, Desert Thief.
It's not like it's just laying around everywhere. So Darkwolf, when visited the man under the bridge, I think he got anything important there, but he's going to continue with his flipper checks, and Death King's going to continue grabbing more money.
There's that ether that we need for Meyer. That's sitting in the fairy fountain.
Yep, and that's just something you hate to find before you have your red cane.
Yeah, come to think of it, that potentially pulls Darkwolf even farther out of the way. If he goes Meyer before finding that hammer.
The fish giving us some more money, and then we're gonna go grab half magic over here. I think that's worth the trip.
Only a half an hour into a seed, I would definitely pick up half magic in that situation. It's just too handy in too many different places.
Oh, this is good. Darkwolf's going back up the mountain. Nope.
Nope.
He's just whistling away.
I'm gonna try not to get my hopes up every time I see that mountain save and quit. But it's gonna be real hard. I really want to see Darkwolf get back into this race. And there's
Speaking
the
of
red cane. That was in the sage's closet.
So we're 30 minutes in, and if you know your dark rooms, I think, are we just a fire rod from Go Mode?
An ice rod.
Or an ice rod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Darkwolf is committing to his double dip of Skullwoods here without his fire rod. We'll see if he finds anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad play. This front of Skull Woods has come to be considered basically just part of the overworld at this point. And with the big key on Death King's side, that does mean that Armos is in logic with that fire rod, even without the lamp.
That is correct.
So at this point, Darkwolf's hope here is that we are in an ice rod hunt situation. That ice rod could be hiding absolutely anywhere, and if it takes Death King, if Darkwolf lucks into it someplace and it takes Death King a while to find it, Darkwolf might be back in the race. But it's a thin hope.
Death King's gonna say, "Who cares about logic? I'm gonna go get this item in the back over here."
Yeah, you have to. This is one of the first dark rooms that a lot of us learn. This and the Mountainous Old Man is not exactly a difficult one.
Death King having a little trouble with that damage boost to get that pot.
Yeah, there are days those anti-fairies just don't want to cooperate. He gets
That should
another
help.
chance at it with that fairy.
Rewarded with his red shield. Mario chat's asking where Samario was. Samario was in Sahasrah's closet today.
With Darkwolf here in Thieves Town, this is a pendant dungeon that Death King left early. If the ice rod's hiding in here and Darkwolf goes in to get it, that could be one possible place for him to catch up, but it is not to be. That's hard to blame him. I wouldn't go any deeper in there.
Found half or still.
Yeah, that's true. So for all he knows, one of those items is out of his reach. You really don't want to leave an item behind there and know in the back of your mind for the rest of the seed that your go mode item might be hiding from you.
Alright, so Death King finishes up Eastern with our second crystal of the seed.
Darkwolf doing his smith chain, having to bypass hammer pegs, and we know with our curse of knowledge, orphaning his fire rod there. Even once he finds his hammer, that's something that it might take him a while to get back to.
Yeah, unless he leaves the chest, but I don't think he's going to. I think he's gonna. Oh. Maybe he will leave the chest. So that could entice him to come back a little sooner. Or did he grab it and is running over? Nope, he's going to big game first. Death King's exploring one of our other pendant dungeons pod today.
Yeah, not a bad idea to at least poke your head in there when you're in the area. It's got a lot of checks in it. Darkwolf giving us our first look at the shovel spot. Could it be that mythical icy rod? It is!
Oh, it is! Where was that shovel?
Trying to recall.
I want to say it was in Skull Woods.
I'm fairly sure you're right. So that's early Skullwoods dip, helping Darkwolf out a bit. But with that being a crystal dungeon, Death King's gonna make his way there eventually. It's just a matter of how long does it take him once he finds the shovel to get to that shovel spot. But that's about the best spot that ice rod could be if you're Darkwolf.
Oh.
Death King with a very nice first try hammer yump and heading into the dark maze, Sans Lamp.
Darkwolf's gonna go peek on Bumper Ledge and maybe Graveyard Ledge?
It would seem to be the play at this point. I don't believe he's gotten King's Tomb yet.
You know, considering we the viewers are now in no mode, as it likes to be called, wasn't a whole heck of a lot over there in Pod.
Yep, about the most meaningful thing we could find at this point would be silver arrows. With Blue Mail and Tempered, both of our runners should be in good shape for their Ganon fight. It's just the getting there that's tricky.
And finding even more money over in Bumper Ledge. Or that wasn't Bumper Ledge, that was Graveyard Ledge. They're all the same. They're all ledges.
All ledges look alike to me. And there's the lamp in King's Tomb. It's a nice find, but not really what you're looking for.
That is nice, and gives Darkwolf a little bit of help that could make some of those dark worms a little easier, especially that Mire one, if Death King never gets over to it. Looks like we may get a little convergence here as both runners are appearing to go check on Catfish.
And it looks like Death King won't be making it all the way there. Deadpool may be able to regenerate, but Death King's going to have to take the death.
See if he flies away from the mountain. Yep.
And it was just the red meringue on Catfish.
I thought that death was going to help Death King. Get him to go check the Dark Mountain, but he fluted away. He's going right back to this portal above CAC.
Looks like he's headed into Skull Woods. Would seem to be a pretty obvious play right now. Go ahead and collect those crystals that you got in front of you.
Yep, fully clearable. Should have no issues with the bacon sword there.
During this little lull in the action, it seems like a good time to ask everybody to go ahead and give both of our runners a follow. They're out here putting themselves on display for your amusement. It's always rough as a runner when you finish up a race knowing that chat knew where that item was the whole time that you were frantically searching for. They were virtually screaming at you, go back up the mountain. We've all been there. It's a bad feeling, but they do it for you.
And right now they're screaming at both of these runners to go back up the mountain.
Not that it was likely we were going to see a ped pull today, but for the record, the ped is dead.
Darkwolf over and picks up his red cane, getting him one step closer to go mode.
Yep, that's gonna make Meyer full clearable for him, so that's an option.
And
in logic, even with that lamp.
Absolutely.
It could conceivably pull him back up the mountain if he gets really desperate and thinks, there's that first chest in Turtle Rock, maybe. I don't know.
Well, he's got that. He's got Spike Cave and that important tablet that we know has his hammer.
Yep, and that Firelock chest in Hera, he does have a fire source now.
Yep. Taking on my least favorite boss in this whole game.
Yep, that moth fight is either over in a blink or it's just the most grueling thing ever. Pretty decent today. Death King awarded with a compass and a red crystal.
And not finding any items in Skull, Death King's gonna go right back in. Go see what this chest holds down here. I think it'll only be key.
I believe you're right. If I'm recalling correctly, that shovel was in front. In answer to chat, that fire rod is hiding in hammer pegs, which is why Darkwolf was not able to get it despite doing the rest of his smith chain.
But Darkwolf, I believe, did leave the purple chest.
True, so that'll hopefully pull him back there sooner rather than later.
Well, sooner after finding his hammer, hopefully.
Yep. Meanwhile, Death King does pull that shovel, putting him one step closer to the ice rod, which we know is hidden in shovel spot. That will be his go mode item.
Well, he still needs those flippers that are over in Hookshot Cave.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'd forgotten. He still has not made his way up Dark Death Mountain.
And he also needs his ether to get into Meyer, which I believe is also in Hookshot Cave. And of course, logically we need the lamp, but I don't think that'll be a problem for either of these guys.
Yeah, that Meyer Dark Room can occasionally be a bit of trouble if you're a little low on health, but I don't think with blue mail and 2 bottles, I think Death King should be just fine.
It looks like Death King will be grabbing that lamp, assuming he follows suit and does King's Tomb after this.
Darkwolf having a little bit of trouble with those red mimics before heading into his Armos fight. Have to wonder if nerves aren't getting to him, knowing that that pod is right in front of him, but not having the hammer, not quite sure if he's making the right plays. Getting hammer late is never a good feeling, even if you feel like you've done everything just right. And the other guy's probably in exactly the same situation.
Yeah, especially once you find out where it is, how early that was. Death King gonna do a splash delete here. Gonna try to get back over to Catfish maybe. He needs that red boomerang that he knows Catfish is holding for him.
Well, yeah, you got to have that red boomerang. How is she gonna splash delete? I mean,
Right.
wait.
Wolf is making that hammerless pod dip. With it being a pendant, at least won't entice him to go finish the dungeon.
Yeah, and I'm guessing I wasn't counting items very closely. I'm guessing Helma didn't have an item, considering the Death King didn't even try to go down for him.
I was not counting either, but even if he did, I don't think Death King would have gone to beat him just for that one item.
And you know, I joke about splash deleting with the red boomerang, but there you go, Death King. It did in fact come in handy.
There was the ether. It was in Waterfall Fairy.
Death King says, logic nothing. I want that half magic.
And he has pulled off these splash deletes flawlessly.
Yeah, that one just there for the Zora ledge. You're on a pretty tight timing window. Well done. That's one that I can usually make, but it might take me a try or two.
And it looks like Death King is finally heading up to the dark side of the mountain.
Yeah, that's going to net him his flippers and get him one item closer to go mode.
It'll be interesting to see if he dips into TR hoping to find his ice rod in there.
Yeah, it's always a tough decision to make, because how deep do you go? How bad do you want it? How bad do you think you need that big brain play?
Yeah. And that thing can, you know, from our runner's perspective, that ice rod could be sitting on that last chest on Laser Bridge. We, of course, know that he needs to go use that shovel he found in Skull Woods.
I suppose he's also got Hera Basement and Spike Cave in front of him if he wants to be as thorough as possible with this mountain climb.
He got those flippers now, though, so now he knows that Swamp Palace is completely open to him. He's gonna take that save and quit.
Yep, that does also put Ice Palace in logic with a green pendant, giving it an extra item's worth of value.
Now I missed it. Did he check to see what TR's medallion was?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. That's definitely something that's easy to forget to do in the heat of the moment when you're excited about new progression and then can just weigh on your mind for the rest of a run.
Well, he's gonna follow those flippers and go straight into swamp.
Yeah, that from his perspective would seem to be the place to be. It's a full clearable crystal dungeon, a reasonably quick one with diver down and with a whole lot of item checks in it.
Darkwolf missing that hammer. He's, he says desert's completable. Gonna go grab that crystal at least.
Yeah, his desert's clearable, his mire's clearable. It's always nice to put off mire until go mode if you feel like you can, but hard to justify it from his perspective right now.
Yeah, because he needs to be searching for that hammer and that fire rod. Death King picked up that swamp big key from that bomb wall. That's always nice to pick up early. At least it makes the left side swamp play a little easier to forget about if you want to.
Yep, no worries about having to turn back and do that last minute big chest if you find it in the back. That's always a minor annoyance.
Darkwolf finishes up the desert and mirrors right back over to the swamp, or the marsh, or the mire, whatever we want to call it. This looks more like a swamp to me than Swamp Palace.
I'm sure a geologist could tell me the exact difference between a mire and a swamp, but I couldn't tell you. It looks like Death King is opting to, at the very least, put left side off until after Argus.
Yeah, I think this is good. He hasn't found the map or the compass yet. Little trouble with diver down, but looks like he's got it now. The map, so we know one item's on the left. Get a first chest big key in mire. Normally you like to see that, but when these guys are still searching for important items, they're gonna choose to go full clear this dungeon anyways.
Ooh, Death King just a little slow on Argus. If you don't kill those puffs fast enough, he will get into that cycle where the boss thinks he's spinning him around even though he's just sitting still. But he does take him out, grab some bombs for his trouble.
Bombs and a crystal cell. I think that means the compass is on the left side, plus one other item that we know is probably useless.
Yep, and Death King deciding it's not worth it. He's gonna peace out, and let's see where he goes next.
I think he's gonna go to Meyer. No. Or maybe he miscounted his flute spots.
Very rude guard, causing him to miss his duck call. And he's just having problems with his flute.
It's 6, not 5. There he goes. He's got it this time. So yeah, this makes sense rather than risking that left side swamp. He can go clear Mire, he can go finish desert, and grab those last crystals, and then the decision is, do we go into TR without the ice rod?
Darkwolf heading through those Mire dark rooms, happy to have found that lamp that makes life a little bit easier here.
So much easier with the lamp.
And with no fire rod, he was not able to set up the spooky glitch. I didn't see if Death King did the setup for it earlier.
I believe he did set it up, so he should be good to retain it.
Darkwolf heading into his Vitreous fight, should be in pretty good shape with that tempered sword.
Yeah, tempered. He's got that blue cannon kit if he needs to use it. He's got half magic.
Ooh, those lightnings are unpredictable, though. He takes a bad hit there. Oh, that lightning coming too close for comfort.
Should be fine now. Just a couple arrows into the eye. He will pick up his 4th crystal. Right, Wolf, where are you going?
Yeah, he's running out of good places to check by my estimation. Though he hasn't been to Ice Palace yet. That'd be a heartbreaker to see.
And neither runner has been to Ice Rod Cave. They both bailed out of Mini Mordorm to go up to the mountain. But what do we expect? $20. More money.
What seed did you think this was?
Who rolled this? I need that kind of money in my life.
go to Home Depot and buy one of those whatchamacallits, the things what you pound nails with. Could get one of those. That'd be real handy.
Don't need money for that. You just need the book.
Yep. Need the book, need the Master Sword, and you need to know to climb the mountain. Unfortunately, Darkwolf only has 2 of those 3 things.
And he's going over to grab that purple chest, it looks like.
Ooh, that is most unfortunate.
Which is going to isolate his fire rod sitting right there in Peg Caves.
So close, and it's hard to blame him. He's got this purple chest. He can go ahead and make a sacrifice to the blood altar while he's here.
Death King showing off some dark spooky action. He enters his victorious fight. I'm gonna use some bombs to take out these little eyes.
Wow, that is not a strat that I'm used to seeing when you've got Tempered at your disposal.
Going well for him, it looks like. Caused some big damage and those eyeballs down.
Yeah, I mean, he had some very good bomb placement there. Made good use of them. Ooh,
down to 1 heart. Yeah, needs to be careful.
But and he only has 6 arrows, so he's going to have to do some sword work on this final phase. Should be all right.
Should be, but that eyeball can take a funny bounce sometimes. But
yeah,
he makes
it can
it
get a little
through.
aggro on you.
Where are we going, Darkwolf? Are we making the Ice Palace play?
Yeah, it certainly looks that way.
This is interesting because he's got to know that you need hammer to complete it. So at the very worst, he only gets 2 items out of here. He's not going to be able to grab that green pendant for the turn in.
Yep, and logically, a bunch of these checks are hammer locked. You can get to them with your icebreaker shenanigans, but you know you're not going to find hammer there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he dips out after the Pengator room, especially if he finds an item. But we'll see. Death King's cleaning up desert. Should be his 6th crystal, leaving only TR for him.
And that's a big key in the Pengator room. Not enough to dissuade Darkwolf. He is going to continue.
Blink and you missed it. Death King's got landmost down with those fire rod shots.
Very nice icebreaker on Darkwolf's side, but finds just 10 arrows for his trouble, and he's going deeper still. He set up that crystal switch like he's expecting to find hammer in here and complete.
And it looks like Death King is making the gamble. He's hoping that Ice Rod is up here in TR.
Now that unless Darkwolf did something really silly and misclicked something on his tracker, as long as he knows that ether tablet is there, that'll be a little bit of a gain for him, because it's hard to imagine going into TR before doing ether tablet once you've committed to that mountain play. Still, though, Darkwolf's going to have a lot of ground to make up if he wants to be competitive in this race.
Yeah. And did I miscount? But it looks like Darkwolf already found all 3 items in ice and is pushing through.
Yeah, I wasn't paying close enough attention. That definitely seems to be chat's impression too. And sure enough, he finds a small key and pulls out his mirror.
That's all he can do in there.
Chat does bring up another good point. If Death King's thinking of it, he could save his portal here. And if he does, there are only a few Light World checks left, of which that shovel spot is one.
Yeah, I would think that would be the right play at this point. Take that safety door that we call it, and go try that dig spot. Looks like he missed that torch, so he's got to go around and redo this room.
And it looks like Darkwolf is heading back up the mountain. Is this the moment of truth that we've been hoping for?
Well, let's hope. He's got the mirror out. He's going left. It looks like it, and King or Death King finding his silvers over there on the right side. Now, what are you thinking if you're Darkwolf now, knowing that's where the hammer was this whole time?
I'm kicking myself pretty hard, and I'm wondering, how bad do I have to gamble in order to make this happen?
Yeah, he has Swamp, Skull, and TR, and he still has to go to Peg Caves to find that fire rod.
Yep, which means he can't be go-moding things. At this point, I'm trying to get into my opponent's head. Did they do left side swamp? Is that the thing that could still win it for me? Yeah, Darkwolf absolutely has to be feeling behind right now.
Yeah, I'd think if he went straight to Peg Caves, which is an odd play to play, but if he did that and got into go mode and was able to go mode Swamp and Skull and TR, that would certainly help.
Yeah, a go mode Skull and TR doesn't really help you much. Well, it wouldn't even be a go mode Skull because he already did front.
True.
If Death King winds up not saving his portal and having to do two full goes through T-Rock, that could help some, but it's very much Death King's race to lose at this point. The thing that I'm always reminding myself when I'm in Darkwolf's shoes at this point is the other guy could be making mistakes too. You don't know what he's dealing with.
True.
Just got to get out of your head and play the best game of rando you can.
So just to catch up with chat, just in case you're joining us now, we need Darth King to go use that shovel and dig up the ice rod, and Dark Wolf needs to go hammer some pegs, pick up his fire rod.
Indeed.
It's a rod hunt for both players.
Yep, and Both checks are quite orphaned. Not a whole lot around either of them that would pull our runners in that direction. And there we have a butter sword, also in T-Rock.
Butter sword and silvers.
So we're in for a nice, easy Ganon fight today. No silvers to make up the difference. That's something that both of our runners are virtually certain to find.
And they're both have that butter sword, I would assume. Possible that Wolf may skip it. Depends on the key layout. I wasn't paying that close of attention to it. And Wolf also deciding to skip left side swamp for time being.
Yep, unfortunately, since Death King did also skip left side swamp, unless he gets real crazy and goes in there before checking shovel spot. At most, this keeps Darkwolf even with him on the swamp play.
Well,
At worst, it loses him even more time.
Yeah, if he wants to preserve that... Oh no, he did use that door. So if he wants to preserve this portal, then left side swamp's going to be the last thing on his list. Where are we going?
Could be heading for... No? Well,
is he going to go do Spike Cave?
Yeah, either Spike Cave or Hera Basement would cost him that portal.
If he goes into Spike Cave and takes a death and does a save and quit, doesn't the portal remain?
I believe you're right, so we could be doing that.
And it's not hard to die in Spike Cave.
Yeah, there's a relative plethora of those pointy things.
Wolf going to check the tablet, gonna get some more of that cash laying around.
And yep, Death King also knowing the deep portal saving lore, opts to take the intentional death there rather than a save and quit.
Went to Link's house, but turning right. Keep going. Going to Hobo.
Oh, we never checked Hobo.
He has also not checked Ice Rod Cave either. Dark Wolf's going to do hammer pegs. This is good.
Ooh, this is very good for Darkwolf.
He will find that fire rod and be our first runner into go mode.
Yep, he's going to be a couple dungeons behind Death King. Of course, Death King, since he is clearly thinking about maintaining that portal.
All right, well,
yep.
Dark Wolf is in go mode. He has to go finish Kill the Mothula and then go through TR.
Yep, Death King gonna go ahead and check the batter. I'd be surprised if he doesn't do shovel spot after this. I think it's this and Ice Rod Cave as his two Light World checks left. And yep, Death King quick swapping over to Flute and getting that shovel out. He knows exactly where his next move is. About to enter go mode very shortly after Darkwolf.
And there's his ice rod. So about an hour 20, Death King is in go mode. All he has to do is jump back into that portal he left up on the mountain and go beat Trinex. And then it's going to be a very quick game, but Ben, we have a game we play after this.
It's true. It typically starts after that final crystal is picked up, and it involves 22 item checks. Suppose it might not be the worst thing to get all prepped for that, and for us to maybe start it a little early because it's going to be a quick.
It's going to be a very quick game.
Yeah, from Trinex to GT over there.
Wolf dropping into Moth while King is heading back into TR to go finish off Trinex.
Wolf having some problems with spikes there. You have to imagine the nerves are getting to him at this point.
Yeah, especially with where that hammer was, and then he saw Fire Rod was locked behind that hammer. I'd certainly be thinking that I've got a lot of ground to catch up. Takes care of Mothula right as King enters his Trinex fight.
Lets the script get away from him just a little bit, just long enough for Trinex to make the floor a little bit icy, but not going to be much of a problem for Death King with that butter sword, making this a nice quick fight.
Down goes Trinex, so we will get that command in and get your guesses in, because this is going to be a very short game to get your guesses in.
Now I always guess 2, because the first one needs to be a small key. You do still need that small key. Easy to forget that small key.
Here's a good guess. I like to go with 4. Put it right in that Dark Magician room.
Of course, if you're a Nuclear Zoo fan, you want 22. You want it in that tile room, and you want Darkwolf to go straight there, because that's about what it would take at this point for him to make up this ground.
All right, guesses are in. See what we got. Start on our left side here. Number 1, just a heart. Two more money. Number 3, more money. Small key number 4 and small key number 5. So Ben, you and I already lost. No points for us.
Unfortunate.
Compass in chest number 6. Another small key in 7. We're going to go our standard Dark Magician route all the way take us to Compass Room.
Gibdo's giving Death King just a little bit of trouble as he makes his way into the Vanilla Compass room, and there it is!
Chest number 8.
Death King making his way up into the gauntlet. He is loaded for bear with butter sword, silver arrows, and blue mail. Not a whole lot that I'm envisioning standing between him and a side of bacon.
And it looks like our winner today of the big key guessing game was Devi Signs. Good on you. You get your 15 points. You can go brag to all your friends now. King's gonna make his climb up the gauntlet. Darkwolf picked up his silvers, making his way through TR. He's got that big key there, so he'll probably steal the key.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine him bothering with that.
And then I know Butter's sword was in Roller Room. I don't remember what was in the big chest. But I believe there was a key on Laser Bridge.
Fairly sure you're correct. Of course, with that stolen key, that gives Darkwolf a little more latitude.
And I looked away, and Death King is done with the gauntlet. That was no joke to him. Very clean land mode 2 fight.
Darkwolf opting not to skip that big chest, opting to play it safe.
There you go.
Yeah, almost walks right past it.
So gets that second key. Does he grab his butter sword? I don't think he will. With 2 keys, I think he goes straight to Trinex.
Yeah. I think at this point you want to save every second you can.
Looks
like he's of the same mind.
While King's got plenty of keys up top here, he can just skip everything.
Yep, he's not stopping for anything either.
He's got his silvers, he's got butter. He can get that half magic, he is good to go.
Taking down Trolldorm 2 with 2 well-placed butter sword dashes. Kicking up puffs of smoke, just waiting for that chest to spawn. Death King's eager. He's ready.
Taking on Aga 2. Darkwolf walking into Trinex's lair.
I can just feel the nerves coming from Darkwolf's side as we see Death King take down Aga 2. Darkwolf just a little over a dungeon behind here as we move into the closing phase of this race.
Be careful, he's down to 1 heart. Takes that potion. You don't want to die here. Especially when you didn't take that safety door. And this should be a very quick Ganon fight. Just a couple pokes with that gold sword. Waiting out his warps.
Yep, and with half magic in tow, Death King doesn't have to be shy about pulling out that blue cane to dodge those bats.
Only one heart though, and I don't think he has any potions.
Certainly doesn't look that way.
But he's on to phase 3, so he should be good. Silver arrows in hand. Shouldn't have any issue.
Yep, it's never over till the fat lady sings, but let's just say I hear her doing her vocal warm-ups in the back room right about now.
Wolf entering GT. Hopefully he does that right side or Dark Magician strat. No torch glitch, but not necessary. Not with silvers.
Yep, nice little double, and then one final silver arrow to the dome will take down this pig. Just a narrow gap and a bridge separates Death King from victory.
Yep, and walking over to that Triforce room, Death King finishes in first place, an official time of 1:31:38.
Get your GGs in chat for Death King clocking up another victory for his team.
And I believe that moves. Oh, here, I'll try it. Obsta Val S Nushnish up to 5-1 in this league tournament.
It's a very nice position to be in here in week 3 of League.
Did go full right side, so he found his key early. So he's just a climb behind. And looks like we are joined by Death King. GG Death King on that race.
Oh, thanks. I can't believe I won this with these many mistakes I did.
If you made mistakes, you hit him pretty well.
Well, the first climb on Death Mountain, I completely forgot that I had Dark World access. Got down, made the Dark World, just thought, wait, why didn't I check Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave? Okay, later I went up again, got the flippers, got down, and thought, wait, what do I need for Turtle Rock?
We were wondering about that. We saw you leave after getting Times Mitts, and even on your second trip up, we're thinking, did he check the medallion?
At this point, I was just hoping, please let me have the medallion already or let it be on my way. I mean, I skipped a few items. Well, the Fire Rod was a bit unlucky for me, or the Ice Rod. But it was okay, I guess.
Yeah, funny enough, Rod was both of your go items. You needed the Ice Rod, and your opponent needed the Fire Rod.
Ooh, interesting. Well, it wasn't a spot I would have went to if I would have anything else left. At least the Ice Rod. I mean, I had no intention to go back to Kakariko for the magic bed or going down to the shovel spot. It was just so lonely there.
Yeah, those spots get pretty isolated once, especially after you do Smith in your Dark Death World chain. But you know, smart on you saving that portal in TR. You didn't have to go all through TR again once you did find that ice rod.
Yeah, that was one of the points I also hoped for, because I still had the one item on left side swamp and I had the Lake Hylia item. At least I saw the Lake Hylia item and was a little bit relieved.
And you had all of ice too.
Yeah, but this wouldn't have cracked my portal, so it wouldn't be that bad.
True. Yep. So one of the you had that late dark Death Mountain with the flippers up there, but one of the things that I think saved you was your opponent never read the tablet up there by Hera.
Ooh.
And he got that hammer very late.
Yeah, I guess that's the point where I won this race, maybe.
It was definitely the biggest early point of divergence.
I mean, the tablet could have been routed in better than I did, because if I would have gone to East Death Mountain first, got my sword, went through Dark Death Mountain back to the left side, that would have saved so much time, but, well, haven't thought about this.
It looks like Darkwolf is heading into his Moldorm 2 fight, his final trifecta of boss fights, before closing this seed out.
Yeah, and since Darkwolf did not find that hammer very early, he actually had his ice rod very early.
I mean, having the ice rod is nice. You save a lot of checks, cause this item can be anywhere. Having the fire rod as one left, well, it locks a little bit at least.
Unfortunately, as I recall the way it shook out, the only dungeon he really got to go mode because of it was Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I didn't save that much time in this case.
Well, with the key layout, he was able to skip Laser Bridge, skipped Crystal Roller.
Yeah. It would have been a little bit harder if we wouldn't have found the tempered sword earlier, but, well, still comfortable that I got the butter sword.
Darkwolf has finished off Aga and will be dropping into Ganon. Just a moment. He's got those silver arrows. He's got some potions still, I think. He should be just fine with that bacon sword.
As long as he doesn't decide to cuddle with Ganon like I did, I think he's fine.
You got that nice spot up in the upper right hand corner. You can just spin attack Ganon to his heart's desire.
Yep, pulling out the lag stick to get out of that corner he had himself painted in, and it's on to the final phases of this fight.
Ooh, that was close. I thought he was going to get bumped off.
Yeah, almost got telefragged by Cannon's trolliports there.
2 arrows down, just 2 to go. There they are. You got to cross that bridge, then get your GGs into chat as Darkwolf finishes his seed off. He will finish with an official time of 1:40.47.
Yes,
About
indeed. GG's to Darkwolf. We are getting word from our restreamer that he is declining the vocal oral interview, although he is in chat. If folks have any questions or GGs for Darkwolf, thank you very much, Darkwolf, for putting on a show for us here today.
Yep, he wanted to point out that it was a really great seed, and he's sad that about that hammer spot so late. Understandably so. That must have been hard to see when you finally grabbed it. But yeah, GG to both of you. This was a great race to watch. You know, you hate to see late plays like that, but it was entertaining as hell.
Absolutely. And I'd like to remind everybody that they can follow both of our runners. You can also follow our trackers and restreamers. Thank you very much to Amarith for restreaming and 2D Tones for tracking, and to Floyd for co-commentating, and everybody in the Speed Gaming and the ALTTPR League network of channels who helps put these things on. So Death King, looking forward to the coming weeks of Randomizer League. Is there a week that you're particularly looking forward to?
Maybe mystery.
Mystery's always fun.
I would have said cross keys, but unfortunately it's not in the league this time. So, well, maybe I got my chance with mystery.
Yep, and you get that extra week off next week. Get some more practice in. Take a little breather in the middle of the tournament. That's probably pretty nice.
Oh yeah. And I think I got said a little bit that I have to practice much more.
Well, both our runners today did an excellent job, just showing us how fast you can complete these seeds. You know, I always say under 2 hours, that's a good seed. Looking at the schedule coming up here, we've got a what's first? There's one going on right now, but you're not watching it, you're watching us. So we have a seed later tonight at 6:10. We have an open seed and an invitational seed. One's on this channel you're watching here. The invitational will be over on Speed Gaming 2. And it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 invitational games going on tonight across various Speed Gaming channels. Go pick your favorite runners to watch. Go support them, cheer them on. It's a very busy night tonight. So yeah, I want to thank Ben. Thanks for joining me on this com. Do you have any final things to say, Ben, or our runner Death King?
Well, only the standard things. So thanks you two for commentating. Thanks for our tracker for restreaming. Of course, GG's, and thanks for the possible race for Darkwolf. Darkwolfy, sorry. So it was at least fun, even though I had some moments where I got mad a little bit. but it's always fun to race against someone, also on Restream. So yeah.
All right. Well, with that, thank you very much to everybody, and we will see you next time.